After my father went bankrupt, I used the excuse of being tired to break up with George, the medical school heartthrob who had been supporting me for 3 years. That night, he knelt in the heavy rain, his eyes red, begging me for 8 hours. Meanwhile, I discovered I was 4 months pregnant. 5 years later, the once poor heartthrob became a billionaire. The day he made it onto the rich list, a reporter asked him, "Mr. George, you went from a poor student to a billionaire in just 5 years. What's your secret?" The man curled his lips slightly, his narrow phoenix eyes filled with mockery. "Find a vain girlfriend, then get dumped by her mercilessly." The audience erupted in uproar. That afternoon, news of the billionaire being betrayed by his girlfriend topped the city's trending searches. As for me, I had just finished my 8th job of the day when I collapsed from exhaustion and died on my way to pick up my daughter. When I woke up again, I was already floating in midair. In my moment of despair, I suddenly realized, the George who vowed to make me regret it for the rest of my life, found the kindergarten where his daughter attended. "Mr. George, this is the Tiffany you're looking for. Her mother picks her up from school every day." Led eagerly by the teacher, George stood before his daughter. "Uncle, who are you looking for?" The 5-year-old girl raised her head, looking curiously at the man before her. George paused, then slowly crouched down. "I'm looking for Nancy Smith. Do you know where she is?" The daughter blinked her eyes and flashed a Tiffany smile at the man. "Are you looking for my mom?" "She's at work." George's expression darkened. "She still has to work." "Then what about your dad? Can't he even support his own wife and child?" The little girl pouted. "My dad works very far away. Mom says he's working really hard outside, making lots and lots of money every day. When he's earned enough money, he'll come back to get us." "Uncle, do you know my dad?" She looked at George expectantly, but the man's expression grew even darker. "I don't know her." George spoke coldly, then stood up and left. He paused at the door, turned back, and carefully examined his daughter's features, with an unnamed anticipation. "How old are you?" "This year." The daughter froze for a moment, counting on her fingers just as she was about to speak, but the teacher eagerly answered first. "Tiffany is 6 years old. Just started kindergarten this year." I suddenly turned my head, only then remembering, when my daughter was born, I was already suffocating under the weight of overwhelming debt. To free up more time to earn money and support the family, I deliberately registered her age as 1 year older when applying for her household registration. This way, she could start kindergarten earlier. At this thought, I bit my lip so hard it drew blood. "I'm sorry, Tiffany. Mommy shouldn't have changed your age." I turned around and shouted in George's direction, "George, you're so rich. Go check it out. Check Tiffany's birth records. Tiffany is your daughter. You can't abandon her." 6 years old, George froze in place, his eyes filled with intense disgust as he looked at his daughter. Nancy Smith is really something, breaking up with me 5 years ago, and the child is already 6 years old." He smiled, but his eyes turned red. "Just pretend I wasn't here today." With that, he shook off the teacher's hand and strode away. I chased after his retreating figure, shouting endlessly, "George, don't go. If you leave, what will happen to our daughter? She's only 5. How can she survive alone? No one hears my cries." George keeps walking without stopping. Before leaving the classroom, my daughter suddenly thought of something and instinctively called out, "Dad." George froze, looking at his daughter in disbelief. What did you call me?" The daughter snapped back to reality, her face flushing with shyness. "I'm sorry, Uncle. I mistook you for my dad." "Uncle, is there anything else you need?" The emotions in George's eyes gradually faded, eventually turning into complete emptiness. He glanced disdainfully at his daughter's pale little face and walked away without looking back. The daughter pouted and muttered to herself, "Wrong person. But this uncle's back looks so much like the photo Mom keeps locked in the drawer." She shook her head and continued waiting obediently for me to come home. Only the teacher cast a dissatisfied glance at her daughter, as if regretting the missed opportunity to connect with someone important. The sky gradually darkened. One by one, the children in the kindergarten were picked up by their parents. Only the little girl remained, sitting obediently in the classroom and drawing. "This is me, this is Daddy, and this is Mommy." The little girl happily muttered to herself as she colored with crayons. When she mentioned me, she suddenly turned to look at the classroom door, as if expecting me to appear any second, gently waving and saying, "Tiffany, Mommy's here to pick you up. Let's go home." When her daughter looked toward the door for the 37th time, someone finally appeared. "Tiffany, Where on earth has your mom gone? Why isn't she answering her phone? Could it be she's too busy with some old man and doesn't want you anymore? Listening to the busy tone on the phone, the teacher rolled her eyes, her delicate face full of bitterness and sarcasm. I was stunned on the spot. I couldn't believe such words would come from a teacher's mouth, but my daughter seemed accustomed to it, silently tightening her grip on the crayon in her hand and softly retorting, "My mom isn't like that. She'll come pick me up," the teacher scoffed. Casting a disdainful glance at the girl's patched-up shirt, "Stop pretending. I heard from Tom's dad. Your mom will do anything for money out there, not just accompanying old men. She'd even be a dog if they paid her. I don't know how the principal ever let a child like you into the kindergarten. Just looking at you brings bad luck." With that, she snatched the crayon from her daughter's hand and pushed her toward the landline phone. "Hurry up and call your mom to come get you. Don't make me late for getting off work." After shoving the phone into her daughter's hand, the teacher walked away without another word. The little girl bit her lip in grievance, her tiny body trembling uncontrollably. My heart ached to wipe away her tears, but my outstretched hand passed right through her. Fortunately, my daughter was very well behaved. She comforted herself with practiced ease. "Tiffany is okay. Tiffany won't cry. Tiffany loves mommy very much." She wiped her tears and stood on tiptoe to dial my number. The phone rang. "Mommy, are you working overtime again? Are you tired? Tiffany has been very good today, ate properly, and didn't run around. When will you come pick up Tiffany?" The phone line was busy. No one answered. The little girl stared blankly at the receiver, then sighed like a grown-up. "Mom must be busy again, but it's okay. Tiffany knows mom works hard. Tiffany will take care of herself." She put down the phone, picked up the crayons the teacher had thrown away, and prepared to continue drawing, but her stomach let out an uncontrollable growl. Gurgling, "So hungry," the daughter thought. She rummaged through her little backpack but found no food. She searched the drawers again. Still no food. Finally, her gaze settled on the half-eaten snack in the trash bin. Every afternoon, the kindergarten gives snacks to the children, but the portion meant for my daughter was snatched away by others as soon as it was handed out. She told the teacher, but the teacher said, "Tiffany, you're a girl. What's the harm in letting the boys have it? They eat more to grow taller. Unlike you, always calculating every little thing, not just today's snack, but tomorrow's and the day after. The teacher will give them to others. A disobedient child like you doesn't deserve to eat." Recalling the memory, the light in her daughter's eyes gradually dimmed. She walked up to the trash can, holding back for a long time, but in the end couldn't resist reaching out, brushing aside the dust on top. Her daughter swallowed hard and slowly put it into her mouth. The moment she took a bite, a sudden roar came from the doorway. "Tiffany!" The teacher rushed into the classroom and abruptly knocked the pastry out of her daughter's hand, seeing the confusion in her daughter's eyes. The teacher took 2 heavy breaths, then she twisted the tender flesh on her daughter's arm and pinched it with all her might. "You little wretch, I'll teach you to steal. Tell me, where did you steal the pastries from? When did you steal them?" Tears welled up in the daughter's eyes from the pain as she kept trying to explain. "Teacher, I didn't steal anything. I picked this up from the trash can." "Teacher, Tiffany hurts. Please stop pinching Tiffany." I also rushed forward angrily, trying to pull them apart. Yet another futile attempt. Watching her daughter's painful tears, a glint of satisfaction flashed in the teacher's eyes. "Found it. I don't believe that. Everyone knows your family is the poorest in the entire kindergarten. Poor people love to steal, and you're no exception. Tell me, when did you steal the snacks?" In less than 3 minutes, the girl's arms were covered in 5 bruises from being pinched, from initially struggling and crying out in pain. She had now shrunk into trembling silence. "Teacher, I really didn't steal anything. Teacher, please don't hit me anymore. Mom will be sad if she sees." The daughter's words provoked the teacher, who sneered and threw the girl to the ground. "So now you're using your parents to pressure me, huh? Seems like you haven't learned your lesson yet." She grabbed the little girl by her braids and dragged her toward the storage locker. "Get in there. You won't come out until you admit you stole something." Staring at the dark, cramped storage cabinet, the daughter's eyes filled with intense fear. "No, teacher, I was wrong. Please don't lock me in. Mommy, where are you? Save Tiffany. Tiffany doesn't want to be locked up. Mommy, Tiffany is scared. Where are you?" My daughter's cries echoed through the classroom. My heart ached as if being pierced by a sharp blade. I desperately wanted to tell her, "Don't be afraid, Tiffany, Mommy is here. Mom will protect you." But no matter how long I shouted or how loud, no one could hear me. I was right there, so close to my daughter, yet all I could do was watch my 5-year-old girl be slandered, beaten, and locked in a tiny storage closet. For a moment, I wished I could just die and not have to see this. The teacher's patience had completely run out. She clicked her tongue and forcefully locked her daughter in the storage cabinet. Then she turned off the classroom lights. I hate you brats the most. Disgusting. The daughter hugged her knees, crying until her voice turned hoarse. George, sitting in his office, suddenly felt a sharp pain in his heart. He frowned, his cold, stern gaze sweeping over the subordinate standing nearby. Still no news from Nancy Smith. The subordinate wiped his sweat and answered shakily, "Ms. Nancy's colleague said today is her daughter's birthday, and she specifically took leave, leaving work an hour ago, but for some reason, she still hasn't gone to pick up the child, Mr. George, it's almost 7 o'clock. Why don't you go pick up the child first?" The man fell silent for a moment, then curled his lips into a cold smile, as if thinking of something. "I'm not going. She's not my daughter anyway. If no one picks her up, then no one picks her up." On the other side, the daughter had already been locked in the pitch-black storage cabinet for 38 minutes. Her eyes had swollen to the size of walnuts. My tears were nearly dried up, at the brink of despair. The classroom lights were turned on, and a magnetic male voice rang out, "Tiffany, Tiffany." The light in her daughter's eyes instantly brightened. She anxiously shouted, "Teacher Jack, I'm here." The locker was opened, and the Jack teacher that my daughter had mentioned stood outside, gently lifting her out. "Tiffany, are you okay?" My daughter wiped her tears and flashed a Tiffany-like smile. "Teacher Jack, did you come to save Tiffany?" The man's eyes darkened. His gaze at the daughter carrying an adult's aggression. "Of course, the teacher is here to save Tiffany." The daughter responded with a light, casting a grateful look, yet I couldn't stop trembling, the bone-chilling cold nearly freezing my nerves. Without time to think, I frantically shouted my daughter's name, urging her to run. My daughter couldn't hear me and was still earnestly speaking to the man. "Teacher Jack, my mom hasn't come to pick me up yet. Could you call her for me?" Teacher Jack swallowed hard and reached out to touch my daughter's fair skin. "Tiffany, don't be in a hurry. How about playing with Teacher Jack for a while first?" Teacher Jack really likes Tiffany. My daughter froze in place. I had taught her that no one should touch her body, so the little girl took 2 steps back, her voice trembling with fear. "Teacher Jack, Tiffany doesn't want to play. Tiffany wants mommy." I also stepped in front of my daughter, cursing at him like a maddened mother leopard. The man's eyes flashed with disdain as he directly backed my daughter into the corner. "Be good, Uncle just wants to play with you. Tiffany, be obedient." As he spoke, he grabbed my daughter's hand and forcibly lifted her skirt. The pink tutu was rolled up to her waist. The man extended his greasy hand, ready to pull down the little bare panties I had personally put on my daughter. I instantly went mad. I lunged forward, desperately trying to bite the man. "Tiffany, run, Tiffany, run." No one could hear. The daughter struggled in terror, crying as she tried to break free from the man's large hand. "Teacher Jack, let me go. Mom, where are you?" "I'm scared, Mom." The cries reached outside the classroom. The female teacher who locked her daughter in the storage closet was drawn over. Upon seeing the two's posture, flames of anger instantly flashed in her eyes. "Jack, what are you doing?" The man's movements froze, and he guiltily withdrew his hand. He smiled ingratiatingly at the woman. The female teacher snorted coldly, walked up to the girl in her high heels, and slapped her without hesitation. "You little bitch. I knew you were up to no good, already learning to seduce men at such a young age." Seeing the shock in the girl's eyes, the teacher's gaze grew even more vicious. The high heel kicked hard into the daughter's chest. "What are you looking at, you little bastard? Even your mother doesn't want you." The daughter collapsed in pain, spitting out a mouthful of blood, but she stubbornly retorted, "You're lying. Mom would never abandon me. Mom loves me very much." After saying that, she finally couldn't hold back and burst into loud sobs. The female teacher cast an annoyed glance at her daughter and pulled the man away, walking and cursing. "I've told you so many times, she's just a little bastard. Why would you touch her? Aren't you afraid of bad luck?" The male teacher carelessly curled his lip. "What's there to fear? It's not like her family has any connections. Would she dare to sue me?" Their voices gradually faded into the distance. Only the daughter remained lying on the ground, disheveled and covered in bruises. "Mom, The little girl stared at the classroom door, her big eyes gradually losing their sparkle. When are you coming to pick up Tiffany? Tiffany misses you so much. I crouched in front of my daughter, tears flowing like an unstoppable faucet. I want to hug her. I want to protect her. I want to tell her, Tiffany, Mommy's here. Mommy will always be here. But I couldn't say it. Should I let my daughter know? Right in front of her, yet I could only watch helplessly as she got hurt. What should I do? What can I do? Moonlight streamed through the window, and I saw the drawing of our family of 3 on my daughter's desk. Dad, George. I wiped away my tears and planted a kiss on my daughter's forehead. Then I immediately floated out of the kindergarten. I know I might still be useless, but even if there's just a glimmer of hope, I'll try my best for my daughter. George also left the company, ready to head home. In the car, images of his daughter kept flashing through his mind. Tiffany, Tiffany, he muttered to himself, unconsciously directing the driver to stop at the kindergarten gate. Peering through the fence, he hesitated as he saw the lights shining from the classroom. Should he get out of the car? Has Nancy Smith not picked up her child yet? The hand gripping the steering wheel gradually tightened, and the man let out a self-deprecating laugh. It's not even my child. Why should I care? I frantically pounded on the car window, screaming desperately, don't go, please, don't go, go see our child, save her. George withdrew his gaze and turned the key. I panicked, mustering all my strength to shout desperately, George. Suddenly, my voice seemed to carry through. George's face suddenly changed, his eyes instantly reddening. Nancy Smith. Is it you, Nancy Smith? Come out and see me, he shouted loudly, his gaze constantly sweeping the surroundings. Nancy Smith, come out. How dare you not face me, Nancy Smith? A pale white light appeared at the intersection. 2 police cars approached from the crossroads. 2 stern-looking officers stepped out, accompanied by a young female officer with red-rimmed eyes. Hello, do you know Tiffany? The young policewoman asked with a choked voice. Her mother was found dead on RS Road an hour ago. Bang! George crashed into the car, his eyes filling with dense red streaks. What did you say? At the same time, a girl's scream came from the kindergarten. The group snapped back to reality and immediately rushed toward the classroom. Everyone hurriedly dashed into the school. The screams grew clearer, and George's heart pounded in his chest. Hearing the familiar voice, the man's heart clenched tightly as he silently prayed. Please don't let it be Tiffany. Please, not Tiffany. Don't let it be her. When the police violently broke down the door, George felt his blood run cold at the sight before him. No matter how Tiffany struggled and pleaded for mercy, she remained tightly trapped in Teacher Jack's arms. The child's hoarse cries mixed with the man's triumphant laughter, echoing endlessly through the empty classroom. Tiffany's big eyes were filled with fear and despair, her heart-wrenching cries making me feel as if my own heart were being torn apart. Mommy, where are you? Tiffany is so scared. My eyes nearly burst with rage as I lunged at him, kicking and punching like a madman. Bastard. Beast, I'll haunt you even as a ghost. George rushed forward in a panic to pull the man away, his heart stopping when he saw Tiffany's face in his arms. He threw a sudden punch at Teacher Jack's face. You damn beast. Teacher Jack was knocked down by a punch, his tight grip on Tiffany finally loosening. The female police officer seized the opportunity to pick Tiffany up from the ground and quickly retreated to a safe area. A barrage of heavy punches rained down on Teacher Jack, who covered his head and wailed incessantly, help, murder. George's eyes were bloodshot, throwing punches with all his might, and soon Teacher Jack's face was swollen beyond recognition. The beaten man's gaze swept over the police uniforms as he struggled to crawl toward the officers. The male officer didn't hesitate, pinning him to the ground with a knee press that knocked half the breath out of him. Then, without mercy, he pulled out handcuffs and tightly secured the man's wrists. If it weren't for this uniform, I'd rush over and beat you to death. The female police officer carefully examined Tiffany's injuries, her eyes filled with heartache. You beast, how could you lay a hand on such a young child? Teacher Jack's eyes darted around as he cried out in grievance. It's not true. I just saw she hadn't gone home after school and was crying alone here, so I came to comfort her. If you don't believe me, ask her. A flicker of doubt crossed the angry faces of the crowd as they turned to look inquiringly at Tiffany. Seizing the opportunity, Teacher Jack made a menacing, threatening expression. Tiffany's body trembled slightly, and she hesitated just as she was about to speak. I was so anxious that I kept pacing around, heartbroken as I stroked my daughter's tear-streaked little face, kissing her over and over. Tiffany, Mommy is here. Don't be afraid, Tiffany, the police and Daddy are here too. They'll protect you as well. The daughter sniffled hard and spoke in a small, sobbing voice. Teacher Jack said he wanted to play a game with me. I didn't want to. He held me, lifted my skirt, and told me to be good. Tiffany's voice grew fainter, but the words that reached everyone's ears sent a shudder through their hearts. I rushed forward, wishing I could solidify into a physical form to slap him hard across the face. Teacher Jack panicked as he looked at the crowd, arguing loudly, "Don't believe her. She's notorious in school for being a liar. She lied to me, saying her mother abandoned her. That's why I hugged her." George's knuckles turned white as he gripped the small wooden chair beside him and walked toward Teacher Jack. Teacher Jack recoiled in fear, trembling as he hid behind the police officer. A male officer stepped forward to block George and wrested the chair from his hands. "You've already beaten him once. If you really injure him, it'll be hard to explain when we take him to the station. What if he turns around and bites you? Don't bring trouble upon yourself." The police officer's words made him calm down for a moment, yet Tiffany's bright little face kept flashing through his mind. Just today, she was still smiling and talking to him. She even mistook someone and called him Daddy. Now, she was covered in dirt, like a broken doll, lying lifelessly in the police officer's arms. Even though she wasn't his own daughter, the thought of what the child had been through made his heart ache inexplicably. At that moment, the female teacher screamed and rushed in, shielding Teacher Jack. "How dare you hit someone?" Hearing the female teacher's voice, Tiffany instinctively shrank further into the policewoman's embrace. Her small hands tightly gripped the policewoman's sleeve, and with just a slight movement, the bruises on her wrists were revealed. "Tiffany, tell Auntie how you got these injuries on your body." The female teacher glanced at Tiffany in the policewoman's arms, then guiltily turned her head away. Tiffany buried her head low, biting her lips tightly as tears kept falling with a patter. George crouched down and gently stroked Tiffany's head. "Don't be afraid, Tiffany, I'm your mother's friend. If you don't want to worry your mom, you can tell Uncle." Tiffany peeked at George with her big, teary eyes, her eyelashes still glistening with crystal-like tears. "You promised not to tell my mom." My tears fell instantly. Such an obedient daughter. How will she survive without my protection in the future? Seeing George nod, Tiffany finally seemed to relax and mustered the courage to speak again. "Uncle, Teacher Lisa said I was seducing men, but Tiffany isn't a bad child. I really didn't. Please talk to Teacher Lisa for me. Tell her not to hit me anymore." With every word Tiffany spoke, the hearts of those present sank deeper. By the time she finished, the female teacher's face had turned deathly pale. "No, don't listen to her. I only disciplined her normally because she stole something. I never said such things. She's lying." The daughter burst into tears with a loud wail. I didn't steal anything. I just picked up a small cookie from the trash can. And Teacher Lisa locked me in the cabinet, but I was just so hungry." George's eyebrows twitched violently as he glared sharply at the two of them. "You two don't deserve to be teachers." The female teacher forced herself to remain composed. "Without evidence, you can't convict us based solely on a child's words. Besides, this kid is full of lies. Not a single word is true." Just then, the male officer walked up to the group holding an evidence bag. "The hairpin found in the wardrobe is a perfect match for the one on this girl's head. You two, come with me to the station." The two teachers were forcibly taken away. As the female officer was about to carry Tiffany away, Tiffany struggled and jumped down. "Auntie, I can't go with you. Mommy won't be able to find me. Do you know where my mommy went? When will she come to take Tiffany home? I miss her cooking." The female police officer suppressed the lump in her throat, meeting George's veiled gaze before reluctantly speaking. "Your mom, she has some things to deal with." Inside the police station interrogation room, officers were questioning the perpetrator. George gently swiped the iodine-soaked cotton swab over the bruises on Tiffany's body. His eyes were filled with unconcealable heartache. Tiffany sat quietly on the chair, clutching the toy bear given to her by the policewoman, noticing the redness at the corners of George's eyes. She obediently handed the bear to him. "Daddy, Uncle, don't worry, it doesn't hurt." My heart ached terribly as I looked at my daughter's wound. Tiffany is clearly the most afraid of pain. I was about to instinctively blow on Tiffany's wound to soothe her, but George beat me to it, gently blowing air onto her wrist. Seeming to realize what he had done, George looked somewhat annoyed. Tiffany tugged at his sleeve and asked, "Uncle, do you know where my mom went? Why hasn't she come to pick me up yet?" George fell silent. Clearly, He didn't care to pay attention to others' affairs, yet Tiffany's every move tugged at his nerves. Clearly, Tiffany was my child with someone else, but looking at that face so similar to mine, he couldn't bring himself to let go. Clearly, he had hated me for 5 years, yet the moment he heard of my death, his mind went blank. So, without thinking, he blurted out the question that had long puzzled him. "Why don't you contact your dad?" Tiffany frowned and shook her head slightly. "I've never met my dad." "What? From the moment I was born, I've never seen my dad." George looked at Tiffany's forlorn little face, his heart aching even more. "But Mom told me my dad is really amazing. He's a wonderful person. When he saves up enough money, he'll come take us home." George frowned and muttered under his breath, "That scumbag made empty promises and then ran off. When I catch him, I'm gonna give him a good beating." I couldn't help but roll my eyes beside him. "You might want to tone it down with your words, since you'll have to back them up later." The police officers emerged from the interrogation room, their expressions grim. The two teachers insist they were just disciplining the child normally, and the school's surveillance system conveniently malfunctioned. Gathering evidence is proving extremely difficult. George's face darkened as he pulled out his phone and made a call. "Find me the best legal team money can buy. Cost is no object. I only care about winning." Hanging up the phone, George looked at Tiffany, who wore a puzzled expression, and spoke softly. "Please help contact this child's biological father." After all, the police officer shook his head. "We've already checked. Nancy Smith wasn't registered as married, so the father's name is left blank." George's mind buzzed for a moment, as if some truth was about to surface again. Could it be? But then he remembered what the female teacher had said. Tiffany is 6 years old and just started kindergarten this year. 6 years old. Not his. The police officer handed a document to George. "Since this child comes from a single-parent family, and the mother is, could you please help fill out this form?" George took it with confusion and glanced at it. "What is this?" "Basic information form for the orphanage." The officer distributing the documents had seen too many cases and gave Tiffany a pitying look. Children whose sole guardian has died and who lack the ability to live independently have no choice but to be sent to an orphanage. During that time, if they're lucky, they might be adopted along the way. Those who aren't adopted can stay there until they turn 18 and become adults. My daughter suddenly froze, the small cake in her hand falling to the ground with a plop. "Uncle Policeman, please don't send me to the orphanage." "Okay, I still need to wait for my mom." My fingers dug deep into my palms until they bled, barely allowing myself to accept this news. My daughter, she's still so young. How could this? A soft sob came from Tiffany in the corner, when she noticed everyone looking at her with pity in their eyes. It reminded her of the exact same look she got in kindergarten when parents learned she didn't have a father. "Please, can you take me to find my mom? Where is my mom? Why hasn't she come to take me home yet? I want my mom." The male officer steadied himself before speaking gently. "Tiffany, your mom is tired. She needs to go to a very, very far away place now, to take a long, long vacation for herself. When you turn 18, she'll come back." The daughter froze for a moment, her voice thick with tears. "That's impossible. Mom loves me. She wouldn't just leave me." "No, she wouldn't." George pulled her into his arms, gently patting her back. "Don't be afraid, Tiffany, Uncle is here." The man's warm presence gradually soothed Tiffany's emotions. I could only stand by, crying uncontrollably. "George, I beg you, help our child. At least, don't let her grow up alone in an orphanage." Tiffany cried in George's arms for a long time, finally falling into a deep sleep at dawn from exhaustion. George looked at Tiffany in his arms, who still occasionally sobbed even in her sleep, and held her tighter with a heart full of pain. He rose gently and walked over to the officer, speaking softly. "If I want to adopt her, would that be possible? Entering a welfare institution is easy, but adoption requires layers of procedures." At Tiffany's repeated insistence, she could temporarily move back home before the adoption process was completed. In the hallway, two teachers were standing at the end, arguing loudly with the police officer. "We're all wronged. That child is lying." Lisa spotted Tiffany first and pointed at her daughter with intense hatred. "Her mother does that kind of dirty work outside. What good can come from a child raised like that?" Teacher Jack also quickly chimed in. "Yeah, she was the one who threw herself into my arms crying, taking off her skirt while sobbing. Isn't that seduction? I was terrified and was just helping her adjust her clothes when you all arrived." "Officer, I'm truly innocent." Tiffany stood there helplessly, listening to them speak one after another. No, I didn't. I really didn't. The male officer couldn't take it anymore and delivered a fierce kick, sending teacher Jack to his knees instantly. Damn it, I've had enough of you. Did you really think cops don't hit people? Her mother has already passed away, and you still have the nerve to smear her name and bully a child. Are you even human? The two were stunned for 2 seconds before the female teacher snapped out of it first, her eyes lighting up. Her mother is dead. Her guardian is gone. You don't have the right to file the case directly. I suggest you let us go now. Otherwise, after 24 hours, even if you beg us to leave, we won't be this cooperative anymore. George was holding the temporary residence permit when he heard the two of them relentlessly threatening and cursing at Tiffany. Standing to the side, Tiffany bit her lip hard, her face already drenched in tears. Once I'm out, I'll make sure this little bitch is kicked out and blacklisted from every kindergarten. With a mother of such poor character, she'll grow up to be nothing but a stain on society. She won't come to any good end. The male teacher sneered with a sinister smile. Tiffany, once you're at the orphanage, I'll make sure someone takes good care of you. Of course, I'll also be keeping a close eye on you. If the former statement was infuriating, the latter sent chills down one's spine. I covered my daughter's ears, my gaze practically wishing I could tear those two apart on the spot. Everyone was trembling with rage at those two. Even George was no exception. The man gritted his teeth so hard they creaked, itching to charge forward again. But the moment he caught sight of his daughter's terrified eyes, he instinctively grabbed her hand and pulled her behind him. Remember every word you've said today, because I'll make you pay for it every single day from now on. Going to jail is letting you off easy. Teacher Jack sneered and spoke arrogantly. Do you think you're so great just because you're rich? I knew you'd deliberately target us and force us to confess, so when you hit me, I had already recorded it on my phone and sent it out. If Lisa and I have even the slightest accident, you'll be the first person everyone suspects. Lisa nodded. That's right, though we're just ordinary people, we have our own connections. Once this gets exposed in all the school groups, see which school would dare take her in. Not just kindergartens, even elementary schools won't touch her. George was so angry that veins throbbed on his forehead. His grip on Tiffany's hand tightening unconsciously, he knew full well how much public backlash his hard-built George Corporation would face if this were exposed. But what worried him more was the possibility of Tiffany being cyberbullied, which could leave a lifelong shadow on her young heart. Teacher Jack, seeing George's suppressed fury, smiled and added the final spark to the fire. Officer, you all suspect me of doing such things to Tiffany. Why don't you suspect him? As far as I know, many wealthy people have some peculiar hobbies, like keeping little girls around or something. The police officer paused, casting a wary glance at George. The child's mother had just passed away, and he couldn't wait to propose adoption. It's hard not to raise suspicions. The atmosphere was eerily tense. Tiffany gently let go of George's hand. Uncle, I'm sorry, but I can't go with you. A hurt look flashed in George's eyes. Tiffany, I've already been abandoned by your mother once. And now even you don't want me. The daughter looked at George, the man before her slowly overlapping with the photo in the drawer. After a moment, the daughter shook her head with glistening tears and took half a step back. Uncle is Mom's only friend. I don't want you to get into trouble because of me. Mom might be sad. George's heart ached as if it were about to shatter. He wanted to reach out and hug Tiffany, but seeing her evasive eyes, afraid of startling her, his raised hand hovered in the air, unwilling to come down. At this moment, the assistant hurried over and handed a stack of documents to George. President, I've found the information you asked me to investigate about Miss Nancy. According to the hospital's birth records, Tiffany should be 5 years old this year. She might indeed be your child. George's heart pounded violently as he stared intently at the assistant, signaling him to continue. Back when the Smith family went bankrupt and was burdened with massive debt, Miss Nancy lived alone after parting ways with you, working to repay the debts. During that time, she never had any relationships with other men. George's hand trembled, and the documents scattered across the floor like snowflakes. The daughter, confused and surprised, looked at George and then at the others, finally mustering the courage to ask the long-awaited question. So, Uncle, are you my dad? The man who always stood straight finally bent down, holding his daughter tightly in his arms, crying in suppressed sobs. Tiffany, Daddy is sorry. Daddy came too late. Daddy searched for you for 5 years, but only found you now. It's Daddy's fault. I stood aside, covering my mouth as I sobbed uncontrollably. My daughter finally has a father. Tiffany's little face flashed with shock, joy, and finally transformed into deep grievance. In the end, she couldn't hold back and pouted. Bursting into tears, the previously arrogant expressions of the two teachers had now turned to sheer terror. The police ignored their pleas for mercy and locked them back up. George acted swiftly, formally suing the two in his father's name that very day. The legal team was equally efficient, quickly uncovering the pair's prior history of child abuse as supporting evidence. The incident has caused a huge uproar, drawing attention from the entire society. My daughter was also beaten by Lisa. She threatened to lock her in a dark room if she dared to speak out. My daughter cried every day after school, saying she didn't want to go, and I still forced her. A mother's tearful video statement after the incident further confirmed the lawyer's words. More and more victims are bravely stepping forward to speak out. The kindergarten where the daughter attended has uncovered an increasing number of scandals, even leading to the principal being taken away for investigation. The kindergarten shut down, and Lisa and Jack have become public enemies, despised by everyone. Indeed, as George said, going to prison would be too lenient for them. On the day of the burial, George held our daughter's hand and stood before my tombstone for a long, long time, so long that I caressed the man's brows, kissed our little girl's cheek, and then completely faded away. When I opened my eyes again, the 5 o'clock alarm was blaring incessantly, shattering my dream completely. I looked at my daughter sleeping beside me and realized with a start that I had returned to the very day of my death. Without hesitation, I took a day off and arranged a day of rest for myself. Then I turned off all the alarms and held my daughter close, peacefully catching up on sleep. In the afternoon, I arrived punctually at the kindergarten gate. After carefully checking my daughter's body and confirming there were no scars from the previous life, I held her hand as she bounced along. Ready to leave. George is here. The man's eyes were bloodshot as he questioned me. Nancy Smith, have you been avoiding me all these years because you fell in love with another man? I remained silent. I'm asking you, whose child is this? I've checked. You clearly aren't married. Tiffany's big eyes were full of confusion. Mommy, he looks so much like the person in your drawer. I glanced at the aggrieved George and picked up my daughter. Tiffany, didn't Mom tell you before that when your dad earns a lot of money, he'll come back to get us? He is your father. George froze for a moment, a flicker of secret delight flashing in his eyes, but he still turned his head away with a light snort. Who knows if you're just trying to latch onto me for money again? With that, he turned and opened the Maybach door, only to panic when he heard no movement behind him. The man turned around, met my teasing gaze, and strode over. With one swift motion, he took Tiffany and then grabbed my hand, leading me toward the car door, running away pregnant and making me search for 5 years. We'll have a proper discussion about this at home. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. After breaking up with Jack, I found out I was 3 months pregnant. I raised Bella alone for 5 years. But due to working 3 jobs, I suddenly passed away from a brain hemorrhage. I floated in midair, when suddenly I saw Jack, who has now become an Oscar-winning actor, knocked on my door. The door took a long time to open. Who are you? The one who opened the door was my daughter, Bella. She had to stand on tiptoe to reach the door lock, which took a long time. Her eyes were wary as she looked at my ex-boyfriend, also her biological father, Jack, seeing it wasn't me. Bella immediately tried to close the door. Jack held the door open, frowning. Where's Rose? Bella thought for a moment, then looked up with a bright smile. You're looking for my mom. She's not home. She is at work. Jack's expression darkened. He asked again, where's your dad? It's you, you're Bella's father. I anxiously shouted from midair, but he couldn't hear me. Bella thought for a moment. My dad is far away making big money. Mom said he'll come get us once he earns enough. Jack's brow furrowed tightly. Suddenly, he laughed at himself mockingly. He muttered to himself in a low voice, I must be crazy to think you'd actually wait for me. With that, then he turned and walked away. He suddenly paused again, asked for Bella's full name. Rose baby. Mom said I'm her Bella baby, so I'm called Rose baby. Bella spoke with great pride. Jack's gaze searched her face, as if trying to find some proof, but in the end, he said nothing, stepped into his stretch Lincoln. I watched the car drive far away, shouting, don't go, Jack, if you leave, what will happen to our Bella? She's only 5 years old. How can she survive alone? I blinked again and softly coaxed my daughter, who was watching the dust-covered car drive away. Be a good girl, Bella. Go after your dad. Now that mom is gone, only he can take care of you. But Bella couldn't hear me. She just said, "What a strange uncle," and closed the door. At this moment, I could hardly resist slapping myself hard. Why didn't I tell Bella who her father was sooner? Why didn't I show Bella a photo of her biological father? This is all my fault. It doesn't matter if I die. But what about my daughter? Bella was swinging her little legs, waiting for me to come home. The last rays of the setting sun faded away. The sky gradually darkened. I should have been back long ago, because Bella is afraid of the dark, but I'm already dead. My colleague just received the notification at the hospital that resuscitation efforts were unsuccessful. They were about to inform my family, but when they opened my phone, they found the family section in my contacts completely empty. However, they did know that I had a child, so, that evening, the phone at home rang. Bella toddled on her short legs toward the phone. "Hello." Her childish voice moistened my colleague's eyes. She didn't know how to tell a girl that her mother had died. She wouldn't be coming back. "Is that Mom?" Bella's voice was full of excitement. "Is it overtime again?" "It's okay. Bella is fine, not hungry at all. Bella just ate the bread Mom bought." With that, she patted her round belly. "Bella, your mom just passed away." Bella asked in confusion, "Where does one go when they pass away?" "But it's okay, Mom will definitely take Bella along." Once before, due to work arrangements, I had to travel to a neighboring province for a business trip. I wasn't comfortable leaving Bella alone at home, so I took her with me. It was Bella's first long trip, and as she boarded the train, she pointed excitedly at the scenery outside the window. So now Bella still thinks I just went on a business trip somewhere. Upon hearing this, the colleague sighed, not sure what else to say. Had to hang up the phone. In the end, she represented the company and had my remains cremated. All that remained of me was an urn of ashes. This night passed with excruciating slowness. It was also the first time I didn't come back. Every now and then, Bella would run to the door to see if I was there. But soon, she would get scared by the darkness and run back inside. She kept running back and forth like this many times, unable to resist sleepiness. She finally fell asleep hugging the teddy bear I bought. Dawn breaks, rooster crows. She was startled awake, rushed to the door in a hurry. Seeing that I hadn't returned yet, a flicker of disappointment crossed Bella's face. But soon, she comforted herself again. "It's okay, Mom is just too busy. She'll be back soon." Having eaten nothing all night, Bella's stomach began to growl. She could only eat the bread I bought to fill her stomach. Then she opened the milk I bought. "Follow my example and try to boil some water to warm up the milk. Mom said we can't drink it cold, or we'll get diarrhea," Bella said while holding a pot filled with water, but her hands were so small. How could she manage to carry it? I was extremely anxious and told her not to do it, yet there was nothing I could do. Just as Bella stood on the stool and was about to place the pot on the stove, she suddenly lost her grip, and water spilled all over the floor. The pot even fell on her tiny foot, causing it to swell instantly. My heart ached as if a sharp blade were gouging it, yet I felt relieved that it wasn't boiling water. Bella began to sob softly. Soon she was holding her own foot, blowing on it gently. "Mommy's not here. Bella will blow on it herself. Then it won't hurt anymore." She wiped away her tears. She moved a stool, sitting in the front room, staring unblinkingly at the doorway. "Bella, don't cry. When Mommy comes back, she'll praise Bella for being so brave. Bella is very good. Very sensible, so sensible it breaks my heart. How I wish she would resent me now, blame me for being an unfit mother, yet she just waited for me to return, so very, very obedient." 2 hours later, a car stopped at my doorstep. A colleague knocked on the door. Bella was so excited, thinking it was me. She ran extremely fast, but unexpectedly, she took a tumble. Her leg was scraped by a sharp rock. Yet she only frowned and quickly got up, after speaking, upon seeing it wasn't me. Her emotions spiraled out of control. She burst into loud sobs. "Mommy, why isn't Mommy back yet? Bella's foot is swollen, and her leg hurts from the fall, but Bella has been very brave. But Mommy still isn't back. Mommy doesn't love Bella anymore. Doesn't Mommy love me anymore?" Bella cried her heart out. My heart shattered into pieces hearing it. Her colleague quickly comforted her. They then found the first aid kit at home, disinfected Bella's leg with alcohol, and applied a band-aid. After everything was taken care of, the colleague brought back my urn and the personal belongings from the office. Bella didn't understand what was happening, however, she saw a photo inside that was taken not long ago when I took Bella to the amusement park. In the photo, I was holding Bella, and we were both smiling happily. She recognized me. Ask her, "Sister, are all these my mother's things? Then where has my mother gone?" The colleague held back tears, pointed at the urn. "Your mother is inside here. If you miss her, just hold it and talk to it." Bella shook her head. "How could my mom turn into a jar? She doesn't know magic." "You're lying." Then she immediately hugged my photo to her chest. "This is my real mom," gave another peck on the cheek, sweetly smiled. The colleague sighed and placed my urn on a high shelf, then looked around again. He asked, "Where's your dad? Are you home alone?" Bella lowered her head. "Mom said Dad went far away to earn money. I've never seen him since I was little." The colleague couldn't believe it. "Is there no one else in your family, grandparents on either side?" Bella shook her head. Her colleague could no longer hold back her tears and hugged her tightly. "Poor child, you're still so young. How could your mother bear to leave you alone and go away?" Bella retorted. "Mom would never leave me. Mom loves Bella the most." A colleague placed a card into Bella's hand. "This is the compensation money from the company after your mother passed away. There's 200,000 in the card, and the password is 6/8. Keep it safe, don't lose it." Bella nodded seriously. She clutched the card tightly in her hand. "Because of poverty, I've taught Bella since childhood that money is a good thing and must be managed well." Now, she also kept it in mind. After careful consideration, a colleague called the local welfare agency that was specifically prepared for these homeless children. I am filled with immense gratitude, bowing and bending in midair towards my colleague. "Thank you. If only she could be sent to an orphanage, at least my Bella would survive." When the welfare agency came to take Bella away, she refused to leave. Clutching the door, she wailed loudly, "You kidnappers, don't take Bella. Bella isn't worth anything." The staff at the institution didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The leading aunt squatted down. She gently told her, "I'm not a human trafficker. We're taking Bella home." Bella frowned. She very seriously told them, "This is my home. If you take me away, Mom won't see me when she comes back. She'll be worried if she can't find me." I covered my mouth, tears streaming down my face. The staff exchanged glances, their eyes moist. They coaxed gently, "Be a good girl, Bella. Your mom asked us to take you there. She had to go away for a while and can't come back right now. So she wants us to take care of you first, and there are many children like Bella there, so you won't be alone." Bella took the words to heart, blinking her big eyes. She stared at them. "Really, of course." Bella slowly let go at last, but just before getting into the car, Bella ran back home again. She took the teddy bear I had bought for her and that photograph, held tightly in her arms. The car started moving. It was Bella's first time traveling far with strangers. The forced composure from before, now, fear, terror, all surged up at once. In the end, she still burst into tears. "Mommy, Bella will be very good, very obedient. Will you come to pick up Bella soon?" "Okay." I drift along with the car, floating and swaying. Wherever Bella goes, I follow, but she can't see me, and I can't touch her. The first day at the welfare home, Bella was unusually quiet. She just stared blankly out the window. Every time someone passed by, she would open her eyes wide and carefully check if it was me, to be discovered. When it's not me, her expression was left with nothing but disappointment. Curious children came to talk to her. "Why did you come to the orphanage?" Bella answered earnestly, "Because my mom had something to do. She sent me here, but she'll come pick me up soon." The little boy seemed to be mocking her naivety. He snatched the teddy bear from Bella's hands. "Your mom doesn't want you anymore. She won't come to pick you up. What's this? Let me play with it." After hearing this, Bella, angrily rushing over, he knocked the boy to the ground. "You're lying. My mom would never abandon me. This is the teddy bear my mom gave me. Give it back." The boy didn't back down either, quickly scrambling to his feet. He pushed my Bella to the ground. He was a year or two older than Bella, naturally. He was stronger too. He was riding on top of Bella. He roughly pulled her hair and tore at her clothes. He also ripped apart the teddy bear, its stuffing spilling out from the torn body. "I'm not wrong at all. Your mom really abandoned you. All the kids here were sent in because their parents didn't want them. It's just a broken toy. I don't want it." Bella hugged the teddy bear tightly. fighting back with all her might. "You're lying. I don't believe you, don't pull my bear. My mom gave it to me." The noisy commotion caught the teacher's attention. She quickly walked in and pulled the two apart. After hearing the reason, she severely scolded the little boy, but the little boy didn't think he was wrong. "I didn't say anything wrong. Her mom won't come to pick her up. She didn't believe me and even pushed me." With that, she made a funny face. Bella stood there. Her hair was disheveled, and her clothes were stained with dirt from the ground, like a defeated hen, yet she still insisted, "My mom would never abandon me, don't try to fool me." From that moment on, Bella grew increasingly silent. The others no longer paid her any attention. They whispered among themselves, saying she had been abandoned by her mother and refused to admit it. Every time Bella heard this, she would quickly walk away. But I saw that when she reached a place with no one around, she would secretly wipe her tears while holding the broken teddy bear. "Mom, is what they said true? Did you really abandon me?" I gently wrapped my arms around Bella, just like how I used to hold her to sleep in the past. "Bella, Mommy is always here. Mommy won't abandon you. Mommy will always be by your side." 1 month, Bella eats very little. She sleeps very little. Her once plump cheeks have now thinned to a point. Her eyes, which used to smile often, have lost their sparkle. She no longer looks out the window or towards the door, nor would I pester the teacher with questions like, "Is my mom coming to pick me up today?" But today, the orphanage was unusually quiet, unlike its usual atmosphere. Suddenly, it became very lively. It wasn't until the director mentioned it that I found out. "Jack is coming to visit the children at the orphanage today." I heard that after he became a big star, he donated a lot of money to the welfare home. And every year he comes to this welfare home to visit these children. The reason, I understand. After all, we left the orphanage together. I was overjoyed. If he saw Bella, he would probably realize the news of my passing, and then, he surely wouldn't be so heartless as to leave my Bella in the orphanage. After all, we were two people who loved each other so deeply. A dense crowd stood at the entrance of the welfare home. They were waiting for the arrival of Jack, the philanthropist. Even the children rushed out one after another toward the entrance. Only Bella watched the lively scene before her with indifference. "Bella, go to the entrance. Your father will be here soon. If he sees you, maybe you won't have to stay here anymore. You could live a good life, and then Mom could rest easy." What I said, she couldn't hear, yet, she picked up the pen, her childish handwriting shaky and uneven. Bella went to find Mom. "No need to look for me." After writing, she placed the note beside the bedding, then she took small steps, heading towards the door. However, she didn't go with that group of people. Instead, she ran off in the opposite direction. I was both shocked and panicked. "Bella, what are you doing? Where are you going?" She ran faster and faster. I thought she had already accepted the orphanage. I've accepted the reality that I won't be picking her up again. I never thought I'd understand only after seeing that note. She's leaving the orphanage. I won't pick her up. She was determined to go find it herself. A Maybach pulled up at the entrance of the welfare home. Agent Leo shielded Jack as they stepped out. A crowd rushed forward to greet them. No one noticed that Bella had sneaked away. Just a little bit more. Just that little bit more. Jack would have seen Bella. Now that she's run away alone, how will she survive? Dean Susan shook Jack's hand. She added a few more words of welcome. During the casual conversation, suddenly, the conversation turned to me. "Back in the day, you and that girl Rose were the closest. You must be married by now, right? Your kids must be quite grown too." As if remembering something, Jack's smile faded. He simply said indifferently, "We broke up a long time ago." Dean Susan was incredulous. Why, Jack didn't want to bring me up again, so they discussed expanding the scale of the welfare home. Dean Susan tactfully refrained from saying more. Finally, she mentioned, "A month ago, a little girl arrived at the orphanage who looks quite like Rose. Seeing her was like seeing the two of you back in the day." An offhand remark, spoken without much thought, yet Jack froze in place. "What's the name?" Dean Susan thought for a moment, her tone regretful. "I think it was called Rose Baby." "Ah, what a pity. That girl had no father, and her mother was quite young. Seems she died suddenly, with no relatives, so she was sent here." Jack suddenly stood up, lost his usual composure. His lips kept trembling, muttering to himself, It can't be her, must be a coincidence." His reaction also startled Dean Susan. "What about the child?" Dean Susan also took it seriously and immediately sent someone to look for Rose baby, but they searched the entire orphanage, yet couldn't find her. Dean Susan and Jack spotted Rose baby's figure through the gate surveillance footage. It's really her. Jack felt a surge of blood rushing to his throat. A mouthful of blood clogged his windpipe. He forcefully swallowed it back down. It took great effort to finally ask the question, "Who is her mother?" Dean Susan shook her head and could only instruct the teacher who had originally picked her up to find that file. After Jack got hold of that thin piece of paper, it felt as heavy as 1,000 pounds. His hands were trembling violently. It took him a long time to turn the page. In the mother's column, Rose was clearly written. Dean Susan was so shocked that she couldn't speak. As for Jack, the file in his hand fell to the ground, his body swayed unsteadily, and he finally spat out a mouthful of blood before collapsing to the ground unconscious. I followed behind Bella. The sky grew darker and darker. The early autumn night was bone-chillingly cold. Bella was thinly dressed. Shivering, she hunched her shoulders. I prayed that someone from the welfare center would come out quickly to look for her, but hours passed, yet there was no news at all. Bella wandered aimlessly like a headless fly. Every time I see a person, I would tug at their sleeve timidly and show them the photo in my arms. "Uncle, have you seen my mom?" But the answer I always get is no. Passing through one unfamiliar street after another, my heart grew tighter and tighter. I feared she might be cold, feared she might be hungry, and even more, I feared she might encounter bad people. "Bella dear, please go back to the welfare home, okay? It's not safe outside." I often teach Bella not to go out alone. She keeps it in mind, but now, she had walked so far and so long alone just to find me. My heart ached beyond measure, yet there was nothing I could do. Bella was tired from walking, not caring about cleanliness, just sitting outside a shop's entrance. The teddy bear in their arms also drooped its head listlessly. Their stomach growled with hunger. From a sprinkler truck not far away came the melody of a song, very familiar. "It's Only Mama is Good in the World," a very old song, but Bella loves to listen to it. When she was very young, she would occasionally cry and fuss, but upon hearing this song, she would quiet down and smile with her eyes crinkling. Bella has heard it many times, can also sing, "Only mothers are the best in the world. A child with a mother is like a treasure, nestled in mother's embrace. Happiness is boundless, without a mother is the most distressing. A child without a mother is like a blade of grass, away from mother's embrace. Where can happiness be found?" Singing and singing, Bella began to sob. "Mom, Bella is just a little weed now, because without you here, Bella has no one to love or care for her, so she's turned into a weed." I couldn't answer. The tears flowed even more fiercely. How I wish I could always cherish and love her, but now, separated by life and death, all I can do is follow behind her and pray for her. Exhausted from crying, Bella looked at the little bear, and hope flickered in her eyes again. "Little bear, do you think Mom got lost and that's why she didn't come to the orphanage to find me?" "That must be it. So I need to go home. Mom must be waiting for me at home." After considering this possibility, Bella suddenly perked up again. After psyching herself up, she stood up. She started walking in the direction of home as she remembered it. But now she was nearly 100 kilometers from home, just 5 years old and all alone. How could she possibly get back? Jack woke up groggily in the hospital. The first thing he did was call Director Susan at the orphanage to ask if they had found baby Rose. Upon receiving a negative answer, he anxiously got up, pulled out the 4 tube from his hand, and was about to drive out to look for her. His agent, Leo, tried to comfort him. "Director Susan has already reported it to the police. They should find her soon. Don't worry. Besides, you've already broken up with Rose, and her child has nothing to do with you." Jack glared at him. He angrily retorted, "What kind of nonsense are you talking? Even if Rose baby isn't my child, she's still Rose's flesh and blood left in this world. How could I possibly not care for her?" Leo was stunned and reminded him, "Back then, she broke up with you because she didn't want to endure a hard life with you anymore. That's why she left. What's there to sympathize with about a woman like that?" Jack's anger subsided. He hung his head low, with a bitter laugh. "Yes, she left me, but now she's suddenly passed away, and the child is still missing. I can't just walk away." Leo warned him with a cold expression. "But if this gets caught by the paparazzi, you with a child, such a huge scandal, how will the company cover it up for you? Don't forget, your 10-year contract isn't up yet. if something happens during this period. Can you afford the sky-high penalty fees? Jack remained calm, and after a moment, it seemed he had made up his mind. If something really happens, then I'll terminate the contract. Even if it bankrupts me, I'll find her and bring her to my side. 5 years ago, when she left, I didn't stop her, but I regret it now. If I had kept her, she wouldn't have. He couldn't go on. Jack choked up. He bowed his head and shed tears. Leo was stunned. He hadn't expected that even after 5 years had passed. Jack's heart still only remembered that woman, just like before, willing to sacrifice his own future for her. 5 years ago, Jack has been in the entertainment industry for 2 years, but he's always been a small, unnoticed figure, playing minor roles and extras, yet his looks are top tier, and his acting skills are quite commendable. He's a promising talent. That's precisely why he was signed by the agency. A single opportunity saw Jack playing the tender-hearted third male lead in a TV drama. Marking his first glimpse of fame, a renowned director took notice of him and invited him to star as the male lead in the next television series. The cast was stellar, and the script was meticulously crafted. It was a rare gem of a show. Jack was overjoyed, but then he learned about the agency's demands. Following the idol path meant no public relationships, as it would lose a large number of girlfriend fans. The safest approach was to avoid dating altogether, at least for the first few years. If he refused, this opportunity would be given to another male actor who debuted around the same time as him. Jack politely declined. The agent knew the reason for his refusal was his girlfriend, Rose. They had grown up together in the orphanage. They had been together for 10 years, a lifetime commitment. Jack would rather live an unremarkable life than abandon Rose, but the talent agency didn't want to give up on him, seeing him as a potential cash cow, so they had the agent privately seek out Rose. Leo just coldly threw the script in front of her. If it weren't for you, he would already be the male lead of this TV drama by now, but for your sake. He gave up the chance to become wildly popular. Do you really want to keep him tied down forever, leaving him with nothing for your sake? Rose didn't know. He had never mentioned it to her either. Rose had always believed that as long as they worked hard enough, they could build a better future together. But she never imagined that Jack had stayed here all along for her sake, this 20-square-meter dilapidated demolition house. Every day, they worry about not having hot water for washing up. Every day, they have to wake up 2 hours early to catch the bus because of the remote location, yet they find joy in it. Love makes the heart grow fonder. He treats her well. Rose knows. He refused to abandon their relationship for the sake of his future, which moved and touched her deeply. But since she knew, she couldn't just let him give up. She didn't want to wait until some distant future when they became a poor couple, struggling for every penny. One day in the future, Jack might suddenly grow tired of her, tired of this kind of life, and then suddenly explode, mentioning the past. If it weren't for her, he would have already become a top-tier celebrity. Blaming each other, that outcome was not what Rose wanted to see. She would rather leave, watching him climb step by step to great heights and achieve his dreams. So, Rose took the initiative to break up. The reason was exhaustion. She no longer wanted to suffer and struggle alongside him. Such reasons were enough to disappoint him. Jack didn't try to stop her. After Rose left, he took on that TV series. With his exquisitely handsome features, the rare youthful charm in the entertainment industry, and his superb acting skills, he skyrocketed to become a phenomenon-level top star. Overnight, his social media followers increased by 30 million. This drama brought him and his agency a fortune. But Leo never expected that even after 5 years of her departure, Jack still couldn't forget her. He thought that after recently finding out her address, visiting her, and learning she was married with children, Jack would finally let go. Yet, to his surprise, even in death, she wouldn't release Jack from her grasp. Jack was once again willing to sacrifice his own future and the career he had painstakingly built for her sake. It was both laughable and pitiable, yet also sigh-inducing. No matter how much he tried to persuade him, Jack wouldn't listen. His mind was made up. He drove away at high speed. The sky had completely darkened. Silence enveloped the surroundings. Only the dim yellow streetlights illuminated her path forward. Bella is afraid of the dark. Her trembling legs said it all. I held her hand, comforting her. It's okay, Bella, don't be afraid. Mommy is here with you. I'm not sure if my comfort had any effect. Bella hugged her teddy bear and began to hum a song. I have the teddy bear Mommy gave me, so I'm not scared at all. A homeless man appeared out of nowhere. He saw Bella alone, staggered drunkenly towards her, grabbed Bella and tried to pull her away. Bella was terrified. She screamed and pushed him away, but the night was quiet. There were hardly any people left on the street. Bella's scream had no effect. Seeing no one around, the vagrant was completely at ease. He wanted to pick Bella up, holding her while grinning. He said, "Don't be afraid. Little girl, I'm a good person. Come with Uncle. Uncle will buy you something tasty." I stepped in front of Bella, and kept cursing at the homeless man. The vagrant's hand passed right through my body. Bella bit his hand fiercely, almost drawing blood. The vagrant winced in pain. He let go. His gaze toward Bella turned fierce. He delivered a vicious kick straight to Bella's chest. Bella staggered from the force of his kick, and collapsed to the ground. She cried out in pain. The homeless man wanted to take Bella away, but he saw a vehicle approaching in the distance. He ran away in fear. I desperately reached out, trying to stop that car, begged him to take my daughter to the hospital. The car sped away, didn't even notice Bella lying on the roadside. My heart ached with pain. I want to hug my daughter, but I can't. Bella tried several times, trying to get up, yet she was in so much pain she couldn't straighten up. A little kitten came running from who knows where, followed closely by an old tabby cat, watching them. Bella cast an envious glance. "Kitty, you're so lucky to have your mom by your side." At the mention of her mother, Bella choked up again. "Mom, where are you?" Bella hurts so much. Bella hurts. Once upon a time, when Bella fell and scraped her skin, I would hold her in my arms and gently blow on her wound to soothe her. Her pain of 1 would become my pain of 10. But now, there's nothing I can do. The bright, pure moon in the sky. If only someone could give Bella a hug for me. How wonderful that would be. The little kitten walked up and gently licked Bella's palm. The older cat also came over to nuzzle the kitten, helping it lick Bella's face. Bella lay still for a while, seemingly regaining her strength bit by bit. She slowly got up, holding the teddy bear. She moved forward bit by bit. Before leaving, she turned back and waved at the 2 cats. "Thank you, I'm leaving now. I'm going to find Mom." Susan, along with the teachers, voluntarily went out to search. The police also checked the surveillance footage, looking for the figure of Rose Baby. Unfortunately, this place is quite remote, and the surveillance cameras on the streets are severely damaged and have been neglected for years. As a result, the search took longer than expected. However, after questioning and investigating the surrounding surveillance footage, they soon found Rose Baby's figure in the surveillance video at the entrance of a store. The police quickly searched along that street. Half an hour later, they finally found Bella. She was holding a teddy bear, walking slowly under the streetlights. They noticed blood at the corner of her mouth. She wasn't fully conscious either. The police quickly took her to the nearest hospital. They also informed Susan that the person had been found. Susan then relayed this news to Jack. Upon learning this, Jack was frantic with anxiety. He turned the car around, speeding several times, and soon arrived at the hospital. Staring at the 3 words, "under resuscitation," before him, Jack felt as though he were adrift in a vast ocean, drowning and suffocating. At times, he felt as if he were being scorched by raging flames, his heart consumed by fire, and at this very moment, the person investigating the truth about Rose's departure back then called him. According to my investigation, Miss Rose met with someone at that time, your agent, Leo. Shortly after that, she broke up with you. Later, we found in the gynecology records of a hospital that Miss Lynn frequently went for checkups. It seems she was already pregnant when she broke up with you, so her child, Rose Baby, should be yours. After a pause, he spoke again, his tone regretful. Over the past few years, she had been raising the child alone, and with Rose Baby's poor health, she took on many tough jobs to make ends meet, delivering food, working as a housekeeper, serving as a waitress, and even as an agent. It is said that Miss Rose's sudden death a month ago was related to her long working hours. These words struck like a thunderbolt, exploding in Jack's ears. "So this is how it feels, I see." Jack seemed to lose his mind, laughing hysterically one moment and weeping bitterly the next. Passers-by couldn't help but glance sideways. After some time, he finally calmed down. Her voice was hoarse from prolonged sobbing. "I'm sorry, Rose. It's all my fault. I failed you and Bella. If only I had come to find you sooner. If I had visited you even once in these 5 years, you wouldn't have died, and our Bella wouldn't be lying here. It's all my fault. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry." Finally, with a thud, he collapsed to his knees, the head hit the ground hard, blood seeped from the forehead. Yet there was no sensation of pain. Rose, I beg you to protect our Bella. She's innocent, only 5 years old. She hasn't even experienced a father's love yet. She can't leave me like this, please. Leo arrived late, looking at the slowly gathering crowd. He quickly had his bodyguards pull up the security cordon, keeping those who recognized him at a distance, tossed the mask and hat to him. But it was too late. Many people had already taken out their phones and captured the scene. Whispers spread through the crowd. Is that the celebrity Jack? Oh my God. I think it's really him. Are they filming a movie? No way. I didn't see the director or any cameras at all. Then why is he kneeling here crying so sadly? The crowd around him kept growing. Leo was about to lose his mind, lost control and started yelling at him. Are you crazy? Do you have any idea how much damage today's incident could do to your reputation if it gets out? Jack saw that it was Leo who had arrived. Fury burned within him. He raised his fist and swung at him. If you hadn't forced her to leave, how could I have lost her? How could Bella have grown up without a mother? For 5 years, she hasn't felt a father's love. Do you even know that? He roared in anger, like a desperate beast. Leo pushed him away. I had no idea she was pregnant back then. Besides, she left voluntarily for your future. How can you blame me? If anyone's to blame, it's yourself for not being capable enough. For not looking for her in all these 5 years. These words completely deflated Jack. He murmured, indeed, it's all my fault. Over these 5 years, I gained both fame and fortune, while she and her daughter lived a life of hardship and struggle. To survive and raise Bella alone, she worked 3 jobs at once. Without an education, she could only work as an agent, then deliver takeout after work, and serve as a waitress. All these years, despite her immense suffering, she never once came to me for help. I thought about reaching out, but never actually did. Not even once. 5 years later, when I finally went, it was already too late. We were separated by life and death. Bella was finally found. Half the weight on my heart lifted. Following the ambulance, I drifted to the hospital. I never expected Jack to come here. We had already broken up long ago. That time, he knocked on my door. He was utterly disappointed to learn that I had gotten married and had a child. I never expected him to come visit Bella, but I heard what he said. And saw him overwhelmed with pain, even harming myself. The heart aches. I left him for the sake of his better future. Never once regretted all these years. As for whether I've thought about going back to find him, yes, I have. But from a distance, I saw him surrounded and crowded by many people. So I retreated. Over these 5 years, his dramas have multiplied, and numerous rumors have surfaced, though none were ever confirmed. The warmth in his smile and the affection in his eyes were always directed at other actresses. I can't tell if it's true or false, but compared to them, I fall far short. I'm afraid taking Bella to see him would only invite humiliation. Not only would I be humiliated, but I'm even more afraid Bella would be looked down upon. If I had known I would pass away suddenly, I would have taken her to acknowledge Jack. After all, like me, he was an orphan from childhood and took family relationships extremely seriously. He wouldn't have allowed his own child to be an orphan too. Back then, we grew up together in the same orphanage. At that time, because he was born beautiful and had a solitary personality, he hardly ever spoke. He was envied by the boys in the orphanage, and because of that, he was bullied. Everyone liked to call him Little Mute. I was the only one who paid attention to him and talked to him, actually. Jack has a very pleasant voice when he speaks. He asked me with red eyes, like a little rabbit, why did his mother abandon him? Is it because he's not good enough? I shook my head. Maybe your mother has her own difficulties. It's okay, even if she doesn't want you, I'll always be by your side. He laughed. It was beautiful. From then on, we were inseparable. Many families wanted to adopt him. He would beg them to take me along as well. All were rejected. What they liked was Jack's appearance and his obedient personality. As for me, I was too ordinary. For my sake, Jack turned down all those adoptive families. What a shame. That's what everyone said before they left. I tried to persuade him to go with them, that I'd be fine, but he refused no matter what. His eyes were clear and bright, in my memory, forever fresh and radiant. You must always stay with me, and I will always stay with you. In youth, the moment of promise. We thought it would be forever, but times change, promises can lose their power. I watched Jack crying bitterly. and softly spoke, "I never blamed you, Jack. It's just that fate played its tricks." The three characters on the emergency room sign went dark. Both Jack and I stared intently at the doctor who emerged. His voice was almost inaudible. "Bella, how are you doing?" Our hearts were all hanging in midair. The doctor removed his mask and spoke, although the internal organs were ruptured. Fortunately, he was brought in time. After some rest and recovery, he can be discharged from the hospital. Both Jack and I let out a long sigh of relief. Now, my heart finally settled back in my chest. I slowly drifted into the emergency room, looking at Bella lying on the hospital bed. My heart aches unbearably, but thinking of the future, I can finally feel at ease. Perhaps it's because there are no more burdens left in my heart. I see a long road ahead, and at its end, there's a place glowing with warmth and light. It's drawing me in. I know I should leave too. Finally, I drifted into Bella's dream. She held me tightly, crying so bitterly. "Mommy, Bella thought she would never see you again. I searched and searched, looked for you for so long, and now I've finally found you." I held her tight and cried too. "Bella, even though Mommy left, I've always been by your side. Mommy knows Bella is the bravest and most well-behaved child. From now on, Mommy can't stay with you anymore, but you have Daddy now. Your daddy is that strange Uncle Jack. Back then, Mommy left him for certain reasons when she was pregnant with you. It wasn't him who abandoned Mommy and Bella, so, from now on, Dad will take good care of you in place of Mom." But Bella couldn't bear to let go. She cried and fussed. "I don't want the strange uncle. I don't want Dad. I only want Mom. Mom, please don't leave Bella." This was the first time she had been so disobedient, but I understood, and my heart ached terribly, yet all I could do was comfort her. "Bella, whenever you miss Mommy in the future, just look up at the stars in the sky. Mommy will always be watching over you from above." And the teddy bear. "Consider it as Mommy keeping you company. Many years from now, Bella will see Mommy again. We will meet again in the future. By then, Bella can tell Mom how strong and brave you are." "Okay." In the end, Bella pouted, with teary eyes. She nodded. Perhaps she understood. I can't stay with her anymore. I hold her in my arms. For the last time, I sing to her. In my embrace, she slowly drifts into sleep with a smile. "Goodbye, Bella. Mom will always bless you." Jack sued the agency, paid a penalty of $1 billion, but he had no regrets. On social media, he openly shared his past, his deceased lover and his 5-year-old beloved daughter, Rose baby. Overnight, countless fans abandoned him, yet, he didn't care at all. After that, Jack announced his complete retirement from the entertainment industry, stepping away from acting. When a reporter asked if the reason was that no directors were approaching him for collaborations anymore, forcing him to retire, he smiled and replied, "I just want to make up for all the lost time with her." Needless to say, everyone knew that her referred to the daughter Jack had recently reunited with. The reporter joked that he was a doting father to his daughter. Jack didn't deny it, nor did he appear in the public eye again. Rose baby is already 6 years old. Unlike when she first arrived at Jack's house, she was now talkative, full of laughter and playfulness. She gradually accepted Jack as well. Jack bought a villa in the suburbs. The yard was filled with osmanthus trees, Rose's favorite. When autumn arrives, the fragrance carries for miles. He also personally built a swing between the osmanthus trees, often holding Bella. He would sit on it together, recalling childhood memories. He and Rose used to sit beneath the osmanthus trees, laughing and playing together. "Dad, which star in the sky is Mom?" Bella blinked her big eyes. Jack spotted it at a glance, pointing a finger. "Your mom is the brightest one in the middle." Bella smiled. "Mom is so beautiful. Just as beautiful as before." Jack's eyes grew misty. The voice was as faint as a mosquito's hum. "Yes, your mom will always be the most beautiful." After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.